Hey guys, Sovereign Jane Jenkins here, author of P Policy. It's about setting boundaries and maintaining self-respect. Self-help book to elevate the consciousness of young women in society. But it's a good read if you're a male who wants to read it. So today I want to talk about being an ex-overgiver. And the reason why I want to have this conversation because this book talks about that process of overgiving and over leveraging time, energy, space to someone who took advantage of the fact that I was a virgin at the time. So bear with me. I don't have my mic. So both of my biological parents taught me to seek the giver. And the reason why is because my father was the provider in my relationship and the dynamics between my mom and my father. And my mom did not work and was not expected to clean, was not expected to cook, but she did clean and she expected us as her children to clean. But overall, I grew up watching a man provide for my mom. And when I came to age, I was in that mindset of like, I didn't necessarily like their dynamic because some days it was toxic and some days there was financial abuse. So going into my first relationship, I was the giver. I was the person that was overgiving to the point where I was not appreciated. And in the end, I end up learning some valuable lessons because I put my ex in his feminine because I was overgiving. So that reinforced what my parents originally taught me is to always look for the giver. If you're in your feminine and you're a female, be the receiver. You have to bring children into this world, so naturally you're going to receive sperm and you're going to be able to create life and you're going to be able to project that life into the world. So you have to sit in your feminine, you have to be the receiver. I went against the program and I had to learn the hard way that that was the biggest mistake that I made in this life to this date was choosing to be in that relationship and gambling away my virginity to someone who did not appreciate me. And it was because of the decisions I made and I went against the program that my parents taught me. And my parents are not together to this day, but at the same time, they both were very instrumental in the way that I think today. And they both reinforce the fact that you are a female, you are a woman. You should be with someone who is going to pour into you. Because if not, if the dynamics are reversed, someone is going to take advantage of you. And being who you are, and you're not an idiot, I'm going to make sure you're going to have brains. I'm going to make sure you have something in your head. So it's not about looks. It's about the fact of you don't want to be in this situation to where you are dependent on somebody else and you're with child, you have a child with someone and they cannot help you raise that child. They cannot support you when you have your sick days, when you have your down days. They cannot be there for you in the way that you need because they are not used to giving. They are the receiver. So now you're not only you're giving to a child, you're giving to a person, your partner. What do you have left for yourself at the end of the day? Nothing, right? You're drained. And I see that so often and frequently at the bedside. So many women are providers, are the givers, and they keep giving, and they're constantly tired. Every time I see them, they look miserable. And in truth, they are so tired that they don't even realize why they're tired. They're just going on autopilot because they're in love. They don't see what's going on. They're functioning from a place of, but I'm in love. And love is blinding sometimes, especially when you have somebody and you feel like that they complete you and that they are the prize. Essentially, you as the woman end up doing all the work. And in that dynamic, in the end, the woman ends up either one, dying first, two, getting pregnant and they're in a situation to where they're left and don't know how to get back on their feet, or three, they end up just giving up on the relationship and they're able to recover and move on because they were the giver. So once they stop giving to somebody else and they can finally start focusing on themselves, they're able to recover, move on, and find somebody else. And sometimes that's the best option. Like, we all have to learn. Like, when you go against the program and the flow of things, you learn some huge lessons that otherwise you would not have learned had you not gone through that. And I had to go back and literally tell my mom, you were right. She never told me to tell her that, by the way. I had to go back and figure that out for myself. And she never said, I told you so. She never castigated me in a way that I felt was discouraging from me trying to find love. She sat back and basically encouraged my decisions and wanted me to make those decisions for myself, because she knew if I did not make those decisions, that if the relationship ended, I was going to end up blaming her. So she always tried to remain neutral when it came to me making my own decisions. And she just sat back and watched. She would say, hey, Janika, that's not right. Janika, that don't sound right. You're wasting your time if you don't say something, or you need to think about that before you go into that. And looking back, she did what she was supposed to do at the appropriate time. And luckily, I learned that about a year and a half into that relationship, but it came to an ending when it needed to. And that's when I learned that you have to look for the giver. If you want to be in your feminine, like, you have to look for the giver. So I went from being an overgiver to shifting into my feminine as the receiver. Now people that try to date me or come into my life, they try to see what they can get away with, and if they could train me to be the giver again, which that's not happening. I'm pretty much set on myself and being the receiver, because I want to put life out into the world and I want to have healthy children. So my focus now is shifted to having healthy offspring, and where I'm going to be able to support those offspring, meaning I have to have a giver in order to do that. So life is what you want it to be. You have to remain in control and make it work for you. And I had to stop feeling guilty about that, because at one point when I went against the program and I expected somebody to give back, they didn't want to, because I was the one that was giving. So now I'm in that space of, okay, if they're not in a giving, if they're not a giver, let them go. If they keep expecting to get you to pursue them, let it go. That's not a feminine person. Like, I am a feminine woman, and I had to accept that about myself, because when I was with a feminine man, I was unfulfilled, I was unhappy, and I could not figure out why. But it was because I knew I was wasting my time. Some lessons you absolutely do have to learn the hard way. And that's why I ended up writing this book, because I learned the lessons the hard way. And I'm not one of those people that I will keep information to myself, because I want to help others. So this is the blueprint. If you are in high school plus all the way to your 30s, 40s, and you're still dealing with pain from your childhood, thinking that you don't want to be with someone that's going to pour into you, you want to be the giver, especially as a female, you might want to keep thinking about that. Keep thinking about the outcome of that, because what happens is you have a traumatic past and you end up getting into a relationship that's traumatizing you and has you kind of in a ghost state, like you're not completely there because you're always tired, and that relationship traumatizes you as an adult. And now you're sitting there, now you have to heal from all that pain, all that trauma from your past comes back. And as an adult, it's even worse, because you're dealing with multi dynamic pain coming from all dimensions. You don't know whether you're coming or going because you're in autopilot. You just know you are hurting and something is wrong, and your emotions are tied up in a situation that's really not healthy. So my best advice, prevention. Okay? So get the book. It is on Amazon, Kindle, and other online platforms. As always, love always, Sovereign Jane Jenkins.